All right, welcome back. My name's Corey and we're getting back into this John boat build. I've got the impeller shaft and assembly installed in the water inlet housing, and I've got the motor back in here, and I'm kind of getting things lined up. Now, unfortunately, it didn't take out all of the wobble in the mid shaft assembly. I think that's because, you know, it's 30 years old. You're not going to get it all out without doing a full rebuild. I don't feel like throwing more money at this. I want to know if this works, so I can get it pretty much as close as possible. I've already got the motor sitting in here and I've spun it and it looks good. I think it being coupled to the motor is helping just keep it in position, because I don't think you're going to be perfect with just the impeller shaft and mid shaft assembly connected. Take a look at what I got going on. This is pretty good. Yes. I've been doing some measuring. I've been getting the rough end of these spacers or shims. I'm just using a pack of the fender washer shims from Harbor Freight or Northern Tool to help me out here. We're not trying to get too scientific on this, but if you'll notice, I do have a bow in the floor from a little warpage while we were welding. I'm gonna mess with this a little bit. I'm gonna get it in position. I'll probably just have to hold down on this to make sure I got it right, but I'll get this tacked in place and then we'll be off to the races. I still have some rivet holes to fix and whatnot, so I'm gonna be doing a couple other things and we'll bring you guys back in. Well, that's definitely not the prettiest thing I've ever done. That's okay, I'm not too worried about it. I've got this thing in there and I like where it's at. I like what it's doing. I've got the other sections of floor tacked in front and back. I did go ahead and weld each one of the corners to make sure it didn't go anywhere. It's really hard to get that spool gun right. I don't want to blow through the bottom of the boat. If you go and look underneath, you can tell it's penetrated for sure. I do have some solid welds, so I'll clean those up when I flip the boat back over. But right now we're just kind of in fitting mode, because I do have to go back and get these spot welds redone, or well, filled in, not spot welds, rivet holes filled in, taken care of so we don't sink. I really like the way this came out. I pulled the spark plugs out to get the compression out. I'm happy. And you know, overall, this thing's on rubber isolators and it's gonna move while we're going down the water anyway, so I don't think a little bit of flex is gonna change anything. I got this thing to where we're pretty much 3mm gap, as close as possible. It looks really good without any kind of motion. Now the question is, how do we fit everything else? So let's get into that real quick. Let me walk around here. Went ahead, grabbed a couple of the other parts, cleaned them up, got them in here to see what we can kind of work with here. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of workaround. The cool part about this is that I've got that other ski, right? That's gonna give me a second down pipe from the exhaust and long pipe to the exhaust too. I look at that guy, that's probably, just that straight part is at least 3 feet long. And then you got a couple 90s in here, which I just kind of have it there to see what kind of spacing I had. And I've got to determine how I want to take it through the transom. This piece here is what would connect into the hull of the jet ski, and then the pipe would run into that, and it basically dump out here, but on the hull of the ski, and it would come out where the water comes out from the jet pump assembly. Yeah, this would travel through, do a couple things. They use gravity too. When it was in the ski, it was pretty much like this, and would go through a cross beam. That must have been a support structure. You guys probably saw me cutting on that. This is the water lock, which you have to have if you want to run this out somewhere in the back of the boat so you don't sink your boat. Otherwise, you could just go straight out like an exhaust pipe, but it'd be loud, and I don't want to do that. I want to try to minimize the sound as much as possible to keep this quiet, because we'll be running up rivers that also have people living on them, and don't want to disturb nature and all that other stuff. So we got to figure that out, which what I'll probably want to do is get that other one out of here. I'll do some connectors, I'll cut this up, and I'll probably make this run straight across here. And then I'll figure out what I need to do with that. Basically, what I came to the conclusion is that the smaller part that's not beaded is 2.5 inches. And I wouldn't have an issue making a new plate or a new mount, drilling a hole in this, making a mount, 2.5 inch pipe, and putting that out somewhere here, just somewhere else on the boat. Because the biggest issue, and I did think about doing this, where I drill a hole, run it through here, and then weld back to the transom and seal that off, and pretty much do the same thing that it was designed to do on the actual ski itself. But if I did that, then I would have the issue of not being able to do my float pods back here, which at this point, I'm pretty positive I'm going to need them to help float this boat, because it is so small. That right there, just how this thing sits, says that maybe I might be overweight, and I don't want to be overweight. So if I put some air pods back here, we'll air them up, and it'll give us much better buoyancy in the back of the boat where all the weight's going to be. Not so worried about the front, although we will be decking in up here. Be pulling this out, be pulling that out, be fixing all these rivet holes, and I will be doing my own like Coast Guard flotation style foam inserts or what have you in the floors and wherever I choose. So I might put another tank back up here, an air tank that is, to have it aired up there under the deck, because I don't need to use whatever this spacing is up here for anything really. I mean, storage is great. I could probably put a small air tank up here and not have to worry about if we take on too much water, at least it'll be still buoyant in the water and not just sink straight to the ground. Now the other issue is, if we're looking at our plane here, you'll notice that the engine is above the top of our gunnel rails, and you can't do anything about that, honestly. I was really close with my measurements. We didn't really have to shim it too much like I originally thought. I think that's primarily because the floor is just kind of doing weird different things. But like I said, I've got the pitch of my impeller shaft straight on, dead on with the pitch of my motor now. I really thought I would have had it with just my measurements and everything I went through to build my motor bracket. But that's okay. I'm honestly glad I came up lower, which it did give me the ability to shim up. You can't really take away, but you can add. So that's cool. And like I said earlier, it's got rubber isolators. So when you shake it, it's gonna move here. So just having that little bit of play and slop in the coupler there is making this quite all right. No biggie. Now, again, I don't know if that's the exact location that's gonna stay. That's honestly a pretty good spot. If I wanted to, I can add, piping in here to extend that over to the side if I wanna move that closer to the edge. The other thing, the issue right now, is our fuel tank, which also breaches our gunnel rails, which I don't like that at all. My plan is to have a really solid flat deck back here that you can stand on and fish off both sides. Or if you just want to hang out, put another chair back here, relax, something like that while you're just hanging out on the boat, whether you're on the river or just floating down with the current, or if you're pulled off somewhere, you can stand back there and it's okay. Or if you wanted to put a cooler or just whatever, a grill, because I love to grill, I want that to be flat. I'm okay with having just a little bit of a protrusion here for the motor to sit up into. I mean, it's not going to be crazy or anything, right? you know, at the most 5 inches up, but that's just gonna surround the engine where it has to be that high, and the rest of it is gonna be flat. So we'll have some kind of deck lid that'll give us access to the engine. We'll be able to pull the engine out if we need to do any work on it. And then we're also gonna want access to any of the other parts that we need to pull out. I'll have another door latch assembly back here that'll give me access to any of my through holes into the nozzle compartment, I guess, the well tail back here. I'm also gonna have the battery over on this side too. So these jet skis, they all use like a really tiny battery setup, which I've got one over here. It's pretty small. And it works just fine if you're just running the jet ski on it. You'll notice I got some of my other parts and components. This is the remainder, and this was the backup assembly here, which that would be the reason why we didn't use it. So there's still some good parts on it. I'm not getting rid of that. The impeller shaft is bad. I want to be able to do more than just run this motor. That battery is good for running the motor. And it's got a charging system, right? It's got a stator. And while it runs, it'll charge the battery and all that good stuff, which is great. We need to be able to do a little more than that. So I want a full-size marine grade battery. I need to run lights. I want to run stereo music. I mean, the stereo is not going to be anything crazy, right? It'd be a head unit and probably 4 speakers, you know, 2 here and then 2 up front, probably, I guess. I want to run a light bar in the front. I've got to run navigation lights, and then I'll have maybe some more lights on the sides, and then an anchor light too. There'll be just a couple things that I want to do with electricity that would make me want to have a bigger battery, which is good because that's going to offset our fuel system. Now, sorry, I keep getting distracted here with our fuel tank. This guy is awesome because it carries 12 gallons of gas. It's close to 13, but we'll just call it 12. And that's awesome. That's a large capacity fuel tank, which I really like. It's just odd, and it doesn't have a great, like, the mounting for it. It's kind of weird. I'd have to make something special to mount this in there like that. It just doesn't really, you know, it's not sitting as great as it could be, which it would be fine to be there. And it'd actually have to probably be a little further back, so it's not at all touching any of the metal, because if it bounces around or moves or whatever, that's pretty much in there as close as possible. But it's awkward and it's heavy, so I'll have to do some math real quick, do that on the next cut, and I'll get back to you on it. For what 12 gallons of gas weighs in pounds versus our battery, where we have another option here. The only problem is it only holds 9 gallons. So smaller fuel capacity, but a much nicer fit up. Okay, yeah, that is 100% better as far as fitment, size. Would be super cool if it was a little bit longer. I can't complain about that. You know, I was able to pick this up from a guy selling a ski, and it just turns out to be the right one. I got it pretty cheap. So now the question is, man, that's right at the same level, which I don't have that fully seated, so that'll probably drop an inch, which will probably really help us, actually. And I guess that depends on how I have it mounted too. That'll probably give us a little bit of a size there. This is what we're working with now, and this is coming in good. Not too much to really see here in way of changes. I guess this video today is really more about us figuring out exactly how we're gonna do this. So design thinking through the process, playing around a little bit and seeing how we can come up with the most efficient way to fit all of this in here is really the best thing we can do. Now, another option too is if I decide to use this fuel tank, which it kind of looks like I'm probably going to, is figuring out what to do with the filler neck, where to put that. Most of these skis do really good about having their own system, their own neck and cap, which I've got this one that I could probably use. And I also have the one from the other ski. So I pretty much took all the guts from the other ski and got rid of the hull. Got options and it's great. And I've got my part ski too, so be able to try to do something with that. Anyway, thanks for joining me today. On the next one, we'll be getting into doing full exhaust system and mounting the tank, and then moving forward with fixing rivet holes. Hopefully, we'll get our new seat in, get the controls in, get this baby fired back up. So, y'all stay tuned. I'll see you then. Bye.